Hello, everybody. Elena, thank you so much. That was so beautiful. We're so happy to be in the room with you today. Folks, that was Elena La Fulana bringing us into the room with some amazing guitar strumming over there, and we can't wait to hear more from her. She is our song leader for the day. I'm going to take a minute to welcome everybody to the Daily Antidote of Song, day 1072. Thank you to Carolyn in Boise for holding up a sign to remind me what day we are on. For everybody out there on Facebook Live, a big hello to you. Everybody help me say hello to Facebook. We're so glad you are all out there. In case you're new to us, the Daily Antidote of Song is one sing-along song every day, virtual, here, free, noon Eastern time. Join us anytime here in the room or on Facebook Live every day. It's a program of Carpe Diem Arts. I'm Joe Rossi. I'm the director. We have in the room with us today Katie in College Park, who's running our tech for us. Thank you, Katie. And of course, Elena La Fulana coming in from DC, who is our song leader. Let's say hello to everybody in the room, and then let's get the party started. So Kevin in DC with the Golden Flute, glad you're here today. Deborah in Kentucky, Jean in Pittsburgh, Sheila in Florida, Susan in Ohio, Becky in Vancouver, Karen in Oregon, Caroline in Boise, Pauline in Newcastle, UK, with William in the background somewhere, Arlene in Berkeley, Jim in New York City, Dorian Ollie in Rhode Island, Hoda in British Columbia, Curly Tops 1, 2, and 3. I see Willard and Alice May and Leanna over there in Vermont. Nice to see the three of you. Linda in Orcas Island, Cricket in Maryland, Bonnie in Boise, Idaho, Ruth in Birmingham, UK, Kathy in Chico in Colorado, I believe, Deli in Maryland, Luda in Victoria, BC, Annette in California, and let's see who else is here. Bronwyn in Victoria, Julie in Ontario, Linda in Colorado, back again, nice to see you. Amanda and Miles in Michigan, Anne in Silver Spring, Maryland, Storm in Massachusetts, Sarah in Texas, Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State, Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts, and Sandy in Maryland, who I saw last night at the fabulous Hubby Jenkins concert, Phil Wiggins and Hubby Jenkins. Hope lots of you got to see it on the live stream. Carol in Connecticut, Jane in Texas, and folks off video today, we have Gary in Mass, Isabel in Florida, Lynn in Connecticut, Marjorie, Marcia, Sandy in North Carolina, Phil in Totnes, UK, who's actually, I believe, in Ireland, but I'm not sure. Bob, who's listening in Massachusetts, Jim, Anne, Fred, and Caroline. Oh, still more, Penny and Ralph. I'm so glad you guys are all here today. Everybody, let's take a deep breath. Happy Monday, everybody. So we're here in the middle of Women's History Month, still thinking and singing about women and women's issues. And today it's Elena La Fulana. She is a DC singer, songwriter, musician extraordinaire. We've had her several times here in the room, and we're so happy to be welcoming her back. Elena, really lovely to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So
Buenos dias.
we say it again, sorry.
I said buenos dias.
Buenos dias. So Elena is going to sing with us today in Spanish. So Elena, we'd love to hear the name of your song and have you teach us the chorus
Sure.
whenever you're feeling ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So this song is called Amor Migrante, which means migrant love. And we'll talk more about what the song is about, but I'll teach you the chorus real quick. And it goes, it's in Spanish, but it means, if you want to follow along there, I believe the lyrics are in English and in Spanish in the chat. It means for you I left there, left you, which is feels kind of crazy, but in Spanish it sounds normal. So it's por ti me fui de ahí de ti. So we'll just repeat that, and then there's a different line at the end. So let's just start with that first part. So it'll be por ti me fui de ahí de ti, por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. And then we end with another phrase that's por ti me vine aquí. For you I came here. Is that good? Should we go through it again? What do you guys think? Let's do it again. All right. So, por 1, 2, 3, 1. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. So that's the part that repeats in the song. And I think I was talking earlier that It's not the most chorusy of songs, but it's very powerful, and I want to talk about the topic of it for Women's History. So should I sing it first? And before
Yeah,
we
let's go ahead and sing it all the way through.
All right, this one's called Amor Migrante. Hope you guys can sing along. Hey! Yo te amo de lejos, aunque no lo puedas sentir. Deje el nombre en mi patria con tu adiós, qué triste sufrí. Ah, quiero darte razones. Ah, por mis grandes traiciones. Es el chorus. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. ¡Hey! Con tristeza en el alma, a frontera norte corrí. Ya creciste sin mamá y te harás gran hombre sin mí. Ay, de pedir tus perdones. Ay, por mis grandes traiciones. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. ¡Hey! Ay, no había más opciones. Ay, de sacarte de pobre. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. This one's a little different. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui, de ahí de ti. Que lo sufrí, estar lejos de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. ¡Hey! ¡Huepa!
Wow. Thank you, Elena La Fulana. That was so, so nice to sing. And it was super sing-alongable. At least I thought so. Did we all feel like we were doing the, yeah, okay. I saw a lot of mouths moving, that's for
Oh,
sure.
good.
So yeah, let's talk about the song. So this is a song you wrote. Can you sort of chat a bit about sort of how it came to you and yeah, everything you want to tell us?
Sure. So I came, I live in Washington, D.C., as was mentioned. And when I came here as so many people do to work in social justice. And I'm originally from Nicaragua, and I grew up between Nicaragua and the U.S., and my family is a family of immigrants. And so when I came to D.C. to work on social justice, I ended up working on immigration issues. And when I did that, I would go around the country talking to different groups and hearing all the stories. A lot of people thought I was an attorney and that I could help them with their personal situation, which I wasn't, and I couldn't. But I ended up listening to a lot of stories because of that. And at the time, I was writing a lot of like love songs, like heartbreak songs. And this chord progression and kind of song idea came to me. And I decided, like, why don't I write it about a different kind of love, not like a romantic love? And I don't have any kids, but I do have a mother, and I can't imagine being far away from her in the way that all these, these a lot of these immigrant stories had talked about being far from their kids. And so the story is essentially it's a story about an immigrant mom who comes to the U.S. in search of a better life for her son, but in doing so has to leave her son behind. And this is a story that's very common in the immigrant and Latino communities, because they come here, and the job the journey's too treacherous for small children, and so they'll come and send money back to their kids. And so the plan will be to not be separated for too long, but then it just turns into a ton of years. And we had the wonderful opportunity to actually record a music video for this song, which is one of the proudest things that feel like I've been able to do as an artist, because it really brings together this justice, issue, and music and art. And we were able to highlight the story of an immigrant mother who lives in Gaithersburg, outside of DC, who hasn't seen her son. Well, now it's at the time of the video, I think it was like 12 years, but we shot the video 4 or 5 years ago, maybe more. So it's been more time. So as far as I know, she hasn't been able to reunite with her son. And so yeah, so we were able to team up with a few immigrant advocacy organizations to fund that video and put out that message. And so for me, it was very powerful. And this song is, it's really important to me because of that. It was kind of the first social justice song that I wrote, and it highlights this issue. It's so common in the immigrant and Latino communities, and I thought it was really appropriate to play it for you all today, with you all today, because of I mean, it's an issue that affects a lot of women, being separated from their children. And it's a very important perspective that's not really talked about enough in our everyday lives. And so, yeah, thank you all for singing with me.
Thank you, Elena, for bringing up such an important thing. So when we were chatting before the doors opened, I mentioned that I actually know many people who've been in the circumstance of the song. And Elena said, of course, it's like super common. But if you just think about me as one person and how many people I know, it gives you, a really good sense of, and it's all tied into, so you said a lot of times they're leaving the children because it's too treacherous of a journey. And I always interpret it as that they needed to be able to come here and get settled and be able to, figure out how they were going to make a living to support themselves, never mind potentially support someone else. And also like whether or not they were going to be able to stay, right?
Right.
Like, so they're not always able to stay. And so, there's all these reasons why it's not optimal
Yeah.
for kids. But many of the people that I know left when their kids were 4 or 5 and weren't able to bring them over until their kids were 13 or 15. And if you just think about that much time of, not raising your child and being with your child, I mean, it's insanely heartbreaking and so sad that it's a common story. So I'm so glad you brought the story up. Is the video something that we can find online? Maybe Katie found it. She found
Yeah,
it.
it's on the chat, it looks like.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the video, I mean, if you don't speak Spanish, it's great because it has like, simultaneous, like it has subtitles. And so you can kind of see in real time what's being said. And Rosario, the star of the video, was just so gracious and so wonderful in collaborating with us. And yeah, I mean, for me, it was like really cool to see that come to fruition. Um, I was gonna say something else about it. Oh, actually, it's actually tied into another. I went to this talk about this book called Enrique's Journey. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it or read it. It's actually a story of a boy who was left by his mother in his home country. And this is what made me think about how complex the situation must be, because these kids must feel, I'm sure there's a sense of like being left behind. And so the Enrique's Journey book is about a kid, and there are a lot of these kids. They're like teenagers or younger even, who make the trek to try to find their parents in the U.S. and they come by themselves and they go on trains and they risk their lives and some of them die and there's this woman that wrote the book. She was an anthropologist out in California, and she had a lady who would clean her house for her, and she talked to the lady about having kids. The lady asked her if she had kids, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm not sure I want any." And then she returned the question, and it turned out that the housekeeper had kids, but they were all separate from her. And one day, months later, one of the children showed up on the doorstep of the house. And so this made this anthropologist very, I mean, obviously incredibly curious about it. And so she interviewed a bunch of kids on the border, and she actually retraced the steps of one kid herself, like in an ethnographic research way. And then she wrote the book, Enrique's Journey, which I was not able to read. I opened it, I saw the picture of the child, I cried, and then I wrote this song. So, but maybe it's something I could revisit. But it was, I heard her talk, and it was a really powerful experience. And I think it's what also propelled me to kind of do my part to spread the word about the situation and write the song.
Well, thank you so much, Elena. So yeah, this is an activist space in here, and we're limited, of course, by the fact that we're all in different locations, and some of us in the room are, homebound or less mobile, and so this may be like too tough of a question on the spot. But do you have any ideas for us, either as a community or for the individuals in the room, how they could, besides passing on the link to your song, which is the first thing I thought of. So like, hello, everybody. How about if you email Elena's song to your 5 friends, or email today's link to the Daily Antidote and the video and say, check this out, just an issue I want you to be aware of or something. But Elena, do you have ideas for us?
Oh, I don't know. For this particular issue, I mean, I mean, other than calling your congressman and asking for immigration reform, I can't really I think of anything off the top of my head. But I mean, to me, it's like important to know. And I mean, we all carry stories, right? Everyone carries, like, we don't know what people leave behind. And I think in some ways to think about that when interacting with other people. I mean, this is a call to myself too, to know, like, you don't know what grief people are carrying. You don't know what stories, what histories people are carrying sometimes. I think for me, well, it always helps me be more compassionate to people on a one-on-one. Obviously, if there are initiatives that can be supported on the local level, and making your city a sanctuary city, or pushing your congressperson to extend DACA. I mean, it's such a hard issue right now politically that it's hard to find things to support, unfortunately. That's part of the reason I became a musician, because I did policy for a number of years, and it was like hitting your head against a brick wall. And it was really hard for me emotionally. And the weird thing is, as a musician, I just find that art, they can't argue with my story, which is, it's very refreshing, as being someone who really cares about these issues, because when people argue against immigration, they argue against people's humanity, and so that was always really, really difficult for me, as an advocate. And of course, obviously, I'll support initiatives. Something people could do, and it's something that I'm doing here locally, is I'm volunteering with some of the immigrants that are coming from the buses, from the migrant buses that are being sent, and that's happening in DC. It's called the Migrant Solidarity Network. But if you have those buses coming to your area, there's so many needs, like even basic stuff like just driving people places. That's most of like what I do. And just welcoming people and like giving them a hot meal, and if you can offer a place to stay, obviously that's great. But any like level in between those things are things that people can do, because there are people in our midst, and they need all kinds of connection, to ground themselves in new communities where their lives aren't threatened every day, and they can raise their families in peace.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Elena. Can we please all show Elena that we're listening and hearing and appreciating? So yeah, Elena, you just said so much. Like one of the things you talked about was like thinking about the story that someone carries in the way that we respond to them. And we've definitely talked about that in this room before. And I've mentioned like having a real teaching moment one time with my kids where we were in line in a grocery store watching someone ahead of us mistreat the person behind the counter because they weren't moving fast enough for their taste. And if we think about it, the service professions are the ones that really were the most challenged during COVID, right? They, in order to keep their jobs and earn their money, they had to show up, whether it was scary or not. And carrying the notion of having an enormous level of respect and kindness for the people who are serving us, I think is so basic, but I also feel like it doesn't hurt to remind ourselves that every day, because when we're on the phone with Verizon for the like literally 11th hour, we can get that sensation like we just want to like blash out, and you have to like not, because that person, you don't know what their story is. You certainly know it's not their fault, right? And so
Right.
I think it's a good reminder to just remember when we go out into the world that, the kindness that we put out reflects back in ways we most of the time never learn or understand, right? So thank you for bringing that up. And I also loved your idea about the buses. And I was thinking, for people in communities that aren't getting buses right now, another potential option would be to be thinking of as those migrants are being processed through the system. Where are they landing? Well, they might be landing in the school near you where English is being taught as a second language. So there's lots of ways for folks who are mobile. And I'm not sure, but maybe even ESL has virtual options, right? Where you could be online teaching. I don't know, but like these are things we can look for. And we here at the Daily Antidote will look around a little bit and see if we can find some additional links so that we can be supportive as a community. So thank you, Elena, so much. Is there anything you want to tell us about what you have coming up or what you've been working on?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, yeah, I have I'm going on my honeymoon next week, so that's my big thing. But I
Congratulations.
thank you so much. I'm actually playing an abortion rights fundraiser on April 2nd at the Pie Shop with a bunch of other groups. And so if that's of interest to you and you're local in DC, that's something that's coming up. And I'm working on a lot of. I've been touring a lot with another band, which has been great. But now that I'm married, I want to be home more. So I'll be working. I'm working on a lot of things to be home, and also possibly I got a little grant to record music with a music studio, and so I'm gonna record some new stuff this year. So I mean, follow along if you wanna see that. I've been writing a lot of music over the pandemic and whatever this era of pandemic is now, and so. Yeah, so I'm gonna see what kind of product I'm gonna put out, but yeah, I'm gonna be focusing more on some of my own material and working, to elevate the immigrant experience, the Latino experience, and the Nicaraguan experience here in the DC area, and as beyond as I can go without, leaving for too long.
That's beautiful, Elena. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we'll look forward to hopefully hearing some tracks that you wrote and maybe being able to celebrate your releases in here in the room. And
Yeah.
I don't want to like disrupt your artistic process, but like just going to put in a little plug for something that's sing-alongable. That's it. That's all I'm saying, because we love having you in this room and it's so amazing to sing along with you and to be able to sing in another language. It's just a real treat. And so we thank you so much for bringing us all of this today. Can we sing it with you again before we
Thank you.
leave?
Yeah. Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, absolutely. So, and I apologize, I've been a little bit under the weather, but yeah, so this one again is called Amor Migrante, and I didn't explain the change at the end, but there's the last chorus, the double, we sing it twice, and the second time through we sing Por ti me fui de ahí de ti, que lo sufrí, estar lejos de ti, por ti me vine aquí. It's a little change, but it says what I suffered being far from you, and that's the end of it. So. All right, thank you so much for having me. I'm Elena La Fulana, and I hope to see you all again soon. And yeah, we're gonna get some flute. Yeah, jam out with some flute over there. All right, cool. This is Amor Migrante. Yo te amo de lejos, aunque no lo puedas sentir. Deje el nombre en mi patria con tu adiós, qué triste sufrí. Quiero darte razones por mis grandes traiciones. Here it is. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. Hey! Nice job. I felt everybody singing with me. Con tristeza en el alma, a frontera norte corrí. Ya creciste sin mamá y te harás gran hombre sin mí. De pedir tus perdones. Por mis grandes traiciones. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. Hey, nice. I see some shakers and everything. Vámonos. No había más opciones de sacarte de pobre. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. This one's a little different. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Por ti me fui de ahí de ti. Que lo sufrí estar lejos de ti. Por ti me vine aquí. Hey! Yeah, all the shakers. Wepa! Yeah, thank you so much for singing, for playing your instruments. I felt it.
Thank you so much, Elena. That was so much fun watching everybody with their instruments and their shakers and their daffodils and their everything in the world, bringing so much light and love and movement and music into this room. Thank you for singing along. I was hearing you all too. Elena, thank you again. Can we please all do one more big thank you to Elena? Elena La Fulana. So all of her stats are here in the comments or here in the chat and in the comments on the live stream. Please check out her work. We've also got the video link in both. And Elena, we can't wait to sing with you again. Let's wish Elena a happy honeymoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, are you sharing where you're going, or?
Oh, we're going to Istanbul.
Wow.
And then we're gonna go in a hot air balloon in somewhere in Cappadocia. Is it called?
What?
Yeah, I know. It's very nice. And no, it's not close to the earthquake, and Istanbul's a humongous city. So, I had some moral qualms about it, but I think it's okay. So, thank you all for your support.
Thank you so much, Elena. And we'll also definitely be looking for ways that we can pass on your work. And also, the book sounds great. I'm definitely going to check it out. And thanks, everybody, so much for being here. Elena, we look forward to seeing you next time. Happy honeymoon. And thanks for singing. And I'm going to say ciao, ciao to everybody in the room. Thank you so much, Phil and Totnes, for being here today and strumming along on your guitar. or your ukulele. Thank you so much to Ruth in Birmingham, UK. Great to see you today. Miles and Amanda in Michigan. It was great to have both of you singing along. And both Miles and Amanda speak Spanish, so there was some serious singing going on over there. Arlene in California, thank you for shaking along. And Pauline in Newcastle, UK, thank you for shaking along. Katie, it was really fun to see you bobbing around. And Kevin in DC on the golden flute. Cricket, thank you so much. Saw you clapping. And let's see, Deborah in Kentucky, thank you so much for being here today. Sheila in rainy Florida, hope you have a nice rest of your day. Susan in Ohio, thank you. Becky in Vancouver, thank you so much for being here today. Jim in New York City, thank you for being here. Great smile today. Dory and Ollie, there's an Ollie cat. Nice to see you both coming in from Rhode Island. Hoda in British Columbia, thank you for being here. Nice smile. Linda in Orcas Island, great to see you. Bonnie in Idaho, thank you for being here. Kathy and Chico in Colorado, reminding us to think about the land on which we stand. Thank you, Kathy. We really appreciate that. Annette in California, thank you for being here. Linda in Colorado, thanks for joining us again today. Not on the treadmill today, I don't think, but I might have missed it. Anne in Silver Spring, thank you so much for being here. Nancy's Irish Cow, Bob and Mabel in Massachusetts. And let's see, Bob in Albany, nice to have you with us today. Carolyn in Boise, thanks for being here. Great smile. Aloysius in Westford, Mass, great to see you. And Juana Letejana in Texas, thank you for being here. Sarah in Texas, you guys are right next to each other. That feels like a first. Julie in Ontario, thank you so much for being here. And Dali in Maryland, Fred in Silver Spring, Suzanne in Maryland, Estelle, we're glad you made it back again today. Nice to see you. Storm in Massachusetts, great to see you. And folks off video, a giant goodbye to all of you, Carol and Curly Thompson, Isabel and Lynn and Marcia and Jim and Penny and Ralph, Caroline, Amos, and a huge goodbye to everybody out there in the live stream. Thanks for being here, gang. Can't wait to sing with you all tomorrow.